There's a huge wave of fear going across, especially the United States. I want to talk about it. I want to explain what it is and how it's being revealed. Yes, truth is being revealed, and we are not accepting anything less. Non-tolerance. I'm going to talk about this because I'm going to explain a couple situations and a prediction of our future that I think you're going to love. And by the way, the future prediction is for next year, 2026. You're going to love this. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. I'm relaunching all of my spiritual teachings. We're going to start with awakening, self-empowerment, self-mastery. Why do we start with awakening? Well, I'm going to tell you today because you can start on this today, because when you go into an awakened state, you realize there is nothing to fear. There is nothing to gain or to keep. Everything is in transition at all times, and we are in constant transformation into the next thing and the next and the next, starting right now with your experiences, your events, and there's nothing stopping you from becoming everything that you dream of right now. The outside circumstances do not control your personal life, and if there are things that you want right now in your life, you can create those. We're going to talk more and more about that. I'm going to tell you what happens when you get stuck in the low density world and you allow it to control your thoughts. In other words, you believe that you are the value of your wealth or your power or your health or anything else, and you don't transcend beyond that, then you're not accessing the power that you are beyond that. And it exists right now. What is happening here in our country, here, the United States, is profound. And we're going to discuss an incident that was written up in the Wall Street Journal that is pure insanity, but it's a reflection of fear. And I'm going to explain to you a prediction that was made by Chris Bledsoe. We'll explain who he is if you don't know. That it's going to be happening next year. And we're going to talk about the drones and who they are. We're going to cover all of this stuff. Are you ready for this? I hope that you'll subscribe. And those of you who are entrepreneurial, you want to create planet conscious businesses, I work with you to find out your beautiful skills, your passions, and then we create multiple income streams around it. Why? We have to create a new world. And as business owners online, we're not worrying about AI or anything else. We're creating powerful ways to earn. And you're not powerful in a material world if you're not abundant, and there's no reason for you not to be. That's silliness. So let's talk about the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal released the most ridiculous report. We had a major nuclear weapons facility go down. There were 10 warheads, nuclear warheads. They all got shut off. They got shut off after a big UFO appeared above them, seen by many, many people. There are many stories out there. And these things went offline. That's unheard of. And if it has ever happened, it would never be all 10. But that's exactly what happened. And they came back online when this huge anomaly that came over the base left. What is that? It was a show of power. All right? It's a show that we can stop this and we will stop this. Now you can say that's something evil, but I'm going to tell you right now, the story that the Wall Street Journal printed is even more devious than you thinking it's aliens. The government, the US government, claims that it was us testing some kind of a beam that could shut this thing down to see if it works. I'm sorry, but you don't test anything on a nuclear weapon, and all 10. Besides, what it takes to do that would require some big honking facility that they would have to build up, and it didn't happen. But they wanted to take credit for that, to say we're in control. That is fear. Now, we see these stories coming out because those who think they're in control and power are realizing they're not. We're little ants on the ground that can be stomped on. And we're not being stomped, so we have nothing to fear. So we're going to talk about a second incident, and that is the drones. Now, according to Chris Bledsoe, if you don't know who he is, he was abducted about 15, 18 years ago, he and his son. And several others witnessed this. 4 hours of missing time. These UFOs, 3 of them appeared. Everyone saw them. And his life has never been the same. He was given knowledge during that abduction that he now knows what that is. But he's struggled and suffered since then. Of course, you know what happens when people claim to be abducted. They get absolutely ridiculed. And of course, he's quite religious guy. The church rejected him. They're putting holy water all over everything. We won't go into his story right now, but I do want you to know that he has proven over and over again that the information he has gotten has been coming true. One of the things he predicted is that when Iran and Iraq would start firing missiles, that orbs would appear to interfere with that. When that happened recently, I'm talking about when Iran and Iraq started firing missiles again, orbs showed up. Exactly what happened. Many, and they were seen and filmed. I actually saw one of these videos. These are not made up things. The U.S. started to put drones up along their bases, and these orbs along with the drones are showing up. So Chris says that those drones were U.S. drones. They were meant to show a force over our military installations, right? And along with them were these orbs. So it was sort of a deflection of some kind. We won't go into the details because none of us will know for sure. But supposedly the U.S. knows about these orbs, the power that they wield, and that these things are coming true. Well, they started to take Chris very seriously because he's predicting some things that are showing up. One of the things that he was shown during his first abduction, the first that at least he knew of, was the pyramids and the Sphinx. He doesn't know why he was shown that, but they went over the pyramid and the Sphinx. It must have some significance. He also saw planet Earth and a major solar flash, and basically Earth going into a cataclysmic state, which included flooding. What he did say is he doesn't know if that was a past event or a future one, but we're not to worry. That is not supposed to happen in our lifetime. Now, let's talk about those pyramids that he saw. He has a golden lady that visits him. This is getting crazier, right? But I believe the guy. A lot of people, including our government, believe him. A golden lady visits him along with orbs that can be seen by people every single day. He demonstrates this. And she talked to him about our future. She said in 2026, around April, that's right around Easter time, she visits him every year. When the red star Regulus lines up with the Sphinx at dawn, that there will be a new era of knowledge introduced. Now, he said it's not a big event. He said it's going to be an introduction of a major change. New knowledge. Now, here's the question. Is it information that will be found in the pyramid or the Sphinx? It was sort of interesting that he saw that. It's a possibility. He doesn't know. He doesn't claim to know, but he knows whatever that means. She shared this information just like that, that there's something huge that's going to be revealed. Knowledge to the world that will change all of us. I believe that these UFOs, UAPs, NHIs, whatever you want to call them, are showing up more and more to let us know and get us used to the fact that they're here and that they will not allow us to blow each other up. I don't think they're landing here to say, here we are, because we're still a very unprepared and malevolent species. We are. We fire at them. We're fearful of them. There would be people that would freak out. You know this, right? So why don't they just land? Because you and I, we say we can accept it. Would we? I don't know. We might freak out too. But they're doing it in a way to let us know they're there, and they're slowly showing up, and they're not doing anything damaging. In fact, they're stopping some of these things from happening. These reports are the fear of our government that they now cannot hide anything, that these things are so powerful that they're stepping forward and letting the world know they're here, and they are here on our behalf. Are there some, and Chris Bledsoe says this, are there some that are not so nice? Yes. But it is not a problem. It is not something that's going to be turned into some kind of battle over Earth. That basically we are playing out our own roles here as humans. We have free will, and we're allowed to do that. They are not to interfere with that, but they can assist us, and they won't allow us to blow ourselves up. We're going to go into more of this because there's an indication that they're here, that they aren't necessarily from someplace else, that they are of this earth. There's a lot of things we're learning, and I think next year we're going to. So I want you to prepare, get ready, buckle up, get your house in order, because next year, this is 2025 right now, of June, next year we're going to see an opening, a gateway to some knowledge that's going to be transformational. It may frighten some people, and others will say, yes, we knew it. We knew we weren't just these bodies, and that we do have something bigger, and we do have powers. We don't have to harm one another to gain things or land or anything else. And this warring has to stop. So are you ready? We're going to start going into, if you go down below, the free inspiration you're going to see, Breakthrough Fear, is being reintroduced by me so that we can work on going into awakening. And then when you go into awakening, a state of awakening, it doesn't take years. It's consciousness. It's knowledge that everything you do to yourself, you do to others, and you start to make conscious decisions that are peaceful and loving, compassionate. Once you go into that state, and at least that knowledge, then the next step is empowerment. What do we do with it? Because you actually can control every part of your life, not others, because enlightened people don't do that. They don't try to control others like our media and all these other factions are trying to. No one has power over you. The third stage is we're going to self-mastery, and that's going to be more of next year when we find out, truly find out some things that are shocking and very exciting. We can master these powers that we have. We can transform this planet. And I believe that is what is coming. I shot a video about misinformation, that this is an agenda to try and control us and confuse us about that, because they know, the institutions in power know what it is, and they want us to think it's them and that they're in control, because as soon as we realize we're not in control, there could be either panic or a great transformation in our own power that says, we're done with you. And then they have no control or power over us. Probably all the above. I hope you enjoyed today. Chris Bledsoe, you might want to look him up. He was just interviewed by Ross Coulthart on News Nation, and it's fascinating. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.